except for those who log in from America, would probably it's morning over there or afternoon. So today we are going to
probably some technical.
And the reason why I look a little red today is actually, I'm not actually looking like that, but it's because there is a lot of yellow light coming in and somehow it makes me look red. So that's always a question I get. So I just anticipating that. So today we will be meditating together for a little bit, and then we will also discuss the topic of the karma, the law of karma, or the law of cause and effect in Buddhism, or the principles of karma. So there's always a lot of questions about this topic. So we'll just take it step by step. I've been talking about this last month, but maybe some of you were not able to join. I think most of you did though. So I'll review some of that content later on, but let's first meditate together. Can you hear me well? Because I have a fan on. Yeah? Because we have a heat wave in Europe. I think Ashley also has a heat wave in America, right? I don't know if you have a heat wave in the entire world, is it still called a heat wave? Not much noise? Okay.
Yes.
So maybe we should call it something else if it's the entire world. Okay. So let us meditate together first. So as I always say, if you are meditating regularly, it's always good to try and sit on the floor and just give it a try, but do not force yourself too much. And if you sit on the floor, you can put your right leg on your left leg or just next to it. You can put your knees on the floor, or if they can't touch the floor, that's okay as well. Just make sure that you're sitting straight. If you're sitting with a straight back, it will help you a lot in the meditation. It will help a lot. The key to sitting with a straight back is to make sure that your pelvis is turned forward, is tilted forward just a bit. And that will give you a straight back. Whether we are sitting on the floor or on a chair, we should always try to sit with a bit of a straight back so we will feel active. But it should be relaxed as well. Then we make sure that we put the right hand on the left with the right index finger touching against the left thumb. This is very good because it will work like a meter. If we are tense, we tend to squeeze between the thumb and the finger. We tend to put the thumb very tightly on the index finger. But if we are too distracted or maybe absent-minded, then maybe the thumb and the index finger will not be touching each other at all. So it's like a barometer. It's a meter of our mind. Let us first start by breathing in deeply and breathing out slowly. And then we continue by relaxing our body and mind. We start first by relaxing our body from the top of our head to the tips of our toes. We relax our eyes and the muscles in our eyelids. And we relax all the muscles around our eyes. We then relax our forehead. We relax our entire head and face. We also relax our jaws, our jaw lines. Relax our neck. Just allow the relaxation to pass through your body naturally. We feel as though we are having a shower or having a refreshing bath. We feel our chest relaxing as well as our abdomen. We can feel our shoulder blades relaxing as well as our back, all the way to our hips. And then we go back a little and we relax our arms all the way to our hands. We can then feel our hips and legs relaxing. And we continue to relax our feet and toes. After a while, we can feel that our body feels a lot better. And it may be that there's still a little bit of tension here and there. We give it a little bit more of our awareness, of our attention. And then we leave it as it is. We leave our body as it is, naturally. We don't have to get involved anymore. We are sitting in the present moment within our body, but we are not concerned with it anymore. Whatever we may feel in our body, we just let it be. And then we continue to relax our mind and inner being, relaxing every part of our mind. It's important that we learn to just let our thoughts be as they are. That we just allow our feelings, our thoughts to come and go. We don't get involved with them. Just like we are like the sky, our mind is open and vast like the sky, but our thoughts are like the clouds that come and go. Sometimes they float for a while and then they disappear. Whatever appears must also disappear. We don't get involved. Just let it be. Gradually, we feel that our thoughts become less active. As our breathing slows down, our thoughts become less active. And we gradually begin to notice that we feel more at peace. When our thoughts become less active, we feel more open and spacious. Now it may be that we want to push this further to try to find more peace. But maybe that's not very helpful. Because the strange thing about meditation is that the more we search, the less we find. We have always learned the proverb, he who searches, he who seeks will find. But in meditation, it's the other way around. You don't need to struggle to find more peace. You don't need to search to find more quiet. We just settle for whatever peace is there, whatever relaxation we have, we settle for that. We are happy with that, and we find peace with that. As we settle and find peace with whatever we feel, all the good things in meditation will come to us. We don't need to look for those. As we have been sitting like this for a while now, we feel more and more at ease and comfortable just being with a sense of peace and quiet and a sense of contentment. Just abiding in the present moment. And it may be that we feel that we are blending in with the atmosphere around us, as though the borders between our body and our environment become a little more vague. We feel we are blending in with the atmosphere around us, as though our body is becoming part of our environments. Then, if we are already quite familiar with the meditation method, we will already know where the center of our body is. And we simply reconnect. We simply reconfirm the existence of the center space within. The center space, the core of our being. But if we are less familiar with the method, we can follow our breath for a while first. We notice that our breathing, that our inhalation is entering our nose, going through our throat and lungs, and directly down to the center of our abdomen as our lungs expand. We can feel the movement of our breath all the way into the very core of our being. And that is the center space. That is the center of the body. We don't need to do much. We simply become aware of the center. And whether we follow our breath outwards again, or we just simply stay aware of the center, after a while, we gradually let go of the breath. And then we are just left with the center space, the core of our being, the center within. The way we connect with the center is very softly, very gently, very naturally. Just like you are thinking about going for a walk outside, or just like you are thinking to have some food. It's just a very simple thought, a very simple awareness of the center space. Sometimes it's so simple that we feel it's not enough. We might get distracted. And sometimes we like to use a mantra, or we use a little memory. The mantra that we normally use is the mantra Samma Arahang. We don't need to worry about the exact pronunciation or the exact meaning. It's just a word or two words, to be exact, that help us to be reminded of the center space. That's all. And we can listen to our center because we know that the mantra is already there. Sammarahang, Sammarahang, Sammarahang. Very softly, very gently, we can feel the mantra resonating from the center space. It might go very slow, or it might go a little faster. And sometimes we feel that we don't want to listen, but we would like to remember a little image. Now, when we remember, we can choose something that is bright or round, and if possible, both. A little sun or a little moon. And when we remember a sun or a moon, the image that will appear may still be pretty vague, but sometimes it's clear. But whether it's clear or vague, just allow the image to build up naturally. Just allow the image to gradually form. We should never, ever try to change the image. Even if it's very vague. Always allow the image to become clear by itself. We have to trust the process. And some days we like to use both the image and the mantra. But some days we don't use either. There is no fixed method, there is no fixed technique. But what is important is how we feel. We feel at ease, comfortable, and we allow ourselves to relax. If we feel tense, then we back off a little. If we feel distracted, then we allow a little bit more of awareness. Step by step, bit by bit, we gradually learn the process. We gradually learn the awareness. Very natural, very soft, almost unaware, almost subconscious, but very consistent. We are always here. Very gently, soft, step by step. Let us practice together in silence. As we have been sitting like this for a while, comfortably connecting with the center, we allow the soft energy of the meditation to encompass, to suffuse our entire body and mind. We allow our entire body and mind to be completely suffused, completely covered by the energy of this meditation, the soft energy of meditation. And then we share this soft energy with the world around us. We think of all the people who we are grateful of, all the people who have done good for us, and all the people who we love and hold dear. And we allow this happiness to flow to them as well. And then we think of all the people who suffer, all the people who are in suffering, in war or in hunger. And then we allow this happiness to flow to them as well. And we allow all the suffering to disappear completely. We wish happiness to all the people in the world. We dedicate the meditation to all the beings in the world, all the people in the world. Then we gradually come to the end of today's meditation. We gradually become aware of our senses again. We can hear the sounds around us. Maybe we can hear the neighbors. We can feel the seat on which we are sitting. We can feel our body completely. And just before we open our eyes, we remember that the center space is always inside of us. Wherever we go, wherever we are, we can always reconnect with the center within. Then we open our eyes gradually as we come to the end of today's meditation. And I will finish with a short chant to mark the end. Sapphe Buddha Palapata Pachekanam Chayang Palang Arahantanam Chate Narakang Pandhami Sapaso Sapaputta Nupavena Sapathamma Nupavena Sapasangha Nupavena Satha Soti Bhavantu te. It's good to see everyone again. Today is a nice evening. Some of you are sitting outside, I can see. Or maybe it's just a fake image. I don't know. Anyway, I think everyone would like to be outside if the technology allows. It's pretty warm. Now there's an expression in Thai language which says "Yu yen pen suk." Yu yen pen suk means that we feel at ease and happy. And we use the word yen. In Thai language, you use the word yen to indicate that your life is also happy. So coolness in Thai language and culture is synonymous to happiness. Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? But it's also good to look at what it exactly means to yu yen pen suk. You know, what does it mean? An important thing about this is the idea of right view. Now, you may have heard that in Buddhism we have there's sometimes some discussion how Buddhism compares to other religions or other philosophies. And sometimes it's said that Buddhism is all about what we do, much more than what we believe, as in Western religion. But that's only part of the story. And we might remember that there is an Eightfold Path in Buddhism. And this Eightfold Path, it contains both ethics, the training of the mind, and the training of wisdom. These are the three pillars of the Eightfold Path. If you summarize the Eightfold Path briefly, just brief enough for a Zoom session, then you come with these three. They are sometimes called the three trainings, in the sense of training character. And one of them is wisdom. And wisdom is not only knowledge, but also the way we look at things. And that's what I would like to continue upon today, in today's session. How karma works. Actually, there's supposed to be 4 parts in right view. I should have covered the first 3. Actually, we did 2 previous sessions on right view. So we've been going through this quite quickly. Most of you are already familiar with the tenets, with the basic ideas of Buddhism. But let me just review some of the things we have discussed. So I was saying that I have talked to you about that there is a certain way we look in Buddhism at moral reasoning, how we think before we decide to do something in our life that is morally important. I'm not talking about how you think about what you're gonna eat today or something. I'm talking about really important moral decisions in your life. How do you think about those things? And that is what we call moral reasoning in English language. But in Buddhism, there is a way we talk about this, we call it right view. Right view or samma titi. Samma means right or perfect. And it's the same samma as we use in the mantra samma alahang. Samma titi, therefore, means right view or perfect view. And it can also be translated as right understanding. It's very similar to what is called moral reasoning in psychology as well. That consists of a sensitivity to be able to see when an important moral decision needs to be made, judgment, motivation, and character. So what we're talking about today is when you need to make difficult decisions in life. You know, a lot of us maybe have had some ideas every new year. Every time we have a new year, we have some what do you call it in English? We have some good resolutions for the new year. Yeah, resolutions you call them. And sometimes we can stick to them, and sometimes we can't. There's even some scholars that say stop making good resolutions because most of the time people cannot stick to them. That's a very pessimist view of life, and that's what I'm talking about today as well. Right view is a way to look at life which is constructive, but also realist. So this is how you spell it, Sammatiti. You can leave out the dash if you don't want to be too fancy, and the dots. But those are in there to indicate that it's a long A. It's Samma, not Samma. Titi. So we have already talked about the first three in the previous session. So giving is important, and to think that giving is an important part of life, that means that you hold to the first form of right view. This is a very basic understanding of life, that it's good to give. And it doesn't mean that you immediately believe in the law of karma. It simply means that you believe that giving is a good thing. And in what circumstances or in what conditions you give, that's another thing. But you believe that it's a good thing to give, that people should give to each other, that people should live in generosity, that husband and wife should live in generous spirit, that people should give to the poor, or something like that. Yeah. Maybe the way we give is a little different for every person, but we believe that giving is a good thing. It's a basic foundation of a good life. That is the first one. You can see that the Buddha is very brief about it. He doesn't say you should believe in giving or something. He says the first form of right view is there is giving. There is giving in this world, and it's a good thing. And the second one is there is sacrifice, which means that we realize that all people are dependent on each other, and sometimes we need to help other people, even those who we don't know. There is offering, means that you believe that sometimes it's good to pay respect or to show your credit, give credit where credit is due, to give honor where honor is due, and that you believe that giving respect is a good thing, as for those who are respectable. Now, in the West, we tend to associate the first two mostly with left-wing politics, and the third one with right-wing politics. But that's a bit of a modern development. For example, in the past, conservatives used to think that generosity was important. The church would support generosity to the poor, and the church has always been conservative. So that's mostly a modern development. We do not need to get political, but just saying that what we talk about today, everyone can have some benefit in learning to explore these ideas. And the fourth one is going a little farther. The first three actually talk about things that we can see with our own eyes, that are not metaphysical, that are not very out there. But the fourth one is really a little bit more abstract. It's called karma. And the Buddha actually, he says there are fruits and result of good and bad actions. And the word action here in the ancient Indian language is karma or kamma. Now, I've talked about learning about right view. It's important that we understand the motivation. Why do we have to learn about karma? Why do you have to believe do we have to believe in those things? I have talked about this, and I think it's important to realize that karma or any topic in Buddhism like rebirth or the next life, all these topics, they are not about becoming, they're not about believing without reason. It's important that we believe with good reason, that we explore, that we understand it deeply with good reasoning and independent reasoning, that we really understand it for ourselves, not just because the monk is saying it or because the Buddha has said it. And this is the view that the Buddha himself held. He believed that we should explore it and understand it by ourselves, which is the meaning of the word opanayiko, which we use in our chanting, in the evening chanting. Maybe you've heard this word. Opanayiko means to make it part of you. So sometimes people will feel that when you talk about karma, it's really about fear. Even in Thailand, some people hold to that view that that something like karma is something to instill fear upon people, or something like that, or even rebirths. So to connect with that topic, previous time last month, if somebody can remember, it's a long time ago, even for me as well. We talked about fear, and fear. There is useless fear and useful fear. So in Buddhism, yes, there is sometimes the motivation to learn about karma to become more cautious. And you might say that is a useful fear, or you might call it caution. The Pali word, the ancient Indian word for this is hiri-ottappa, which means a sort of caution, or a sort of carefulness, and a sort of shame. Not shame in the sense of guilt or not being able to look in the mirror or something like that, but a sense of shame as the opposite of shamelessness, like a sense of compunction. So one important part of that is being aware of the consequences of your actions, and that's what we learn about today. Now I'll try to be more concrete as we proceed. Another part of it is getting courage, to develop the courage to do good. If we learn about karma, it gives us a certain perspective on life. Like, okay, whenever we do good, it will always come back to us. That gives us certain confidence. And that is what we call faith in Buddhism. Faith in Buddhism starts with that. There's also the belief that the Buddha exists. Belief that the Buddha exists is also part of faith. But the most basic form of faith in Buddhism is about that whatever you do matters. So the word faith, some people argue, should not be used because it's confusing. Because in so many times when we use faith, it means something religious, or some religious identity, or something you believe in which has to do with a certain God or higher intelligence. So some people prefer the word confidence. But that's all linguistics. That's all about language, okay? But we all have to agree that it's beneficial to believe that goodness will always pay off, that it's always something beneficial to ourselves and to others. Now, the other four are also helping us to be more good, but I only wanted to mention the first one because that's what it's about today. It's about the way we look at life and how that inspires us. Now, this I haven't talked about yet. The principles of karma, the topic of today, after a long introduction. Principles of karma is how karma works, which is the topic of today. Now, it's important to look at the basics, okay? A karma will always ripen for the doer, the one who does something, not for anyone else, okay? So in the Netherlands, there is a custom that if if a young child has the hiccups, sometimes you will sing a little song to tell the child that he can give the hiccups to somebody else. Maybe you have this in Germany as well, Christian? No? Maybe
No,
it's
I'm not familiar with the Dutch one as well.
Are you familiar with it?
I'm actually not.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there's a little song, and you tell, that's like a sort of psychology. You tell the child that he can give the hiccups to somebody else, and sometimes it works. But that's not how karma works, okay? Or to give another example, if you want somebody else to have food, you have to give the food to that person, but you can't just eat the food and then expect the other person to be full. So karma is always something that happens to you after you've done something. You cannot, but you can tell another person about good karma, and in that way, the other person will feel energetic about it, inspired about it, and in that way, the other person also connects to that karma. So karma you can share it in that way, but not directly give your own karma to others. So when we are doing a ceremony for remembering our past relatives or our deceased relatives, then we are actually giving them the opportunity to do a good karma for themselves. So the idea is that when you share good karma through your mind, through your mental action, your relatives that have passed away will be able to feel that energy, and then in that process, they will create their own good karma. It sounds a bit complicated, but the point is that karma is always an individual thing, but we can connect with other people's good karma when we are aware of it, because our awareness is the basic thing that always determines what is good karma and what not. So I think Safir has a question. She's raising her hand. Or is that was that by accident? I suppose it was by accident. And the second principle is a karma will ripen in kind, which means that when you do a certain karma, the same sort of karma will tend to come back to you. So a karma will ripen in kind. That means, for example, if you do a lot of generous things in your life, then generosity tends to come back to you. So you tend to find yourself in circumstances where you do well. Or if you have always taken good care of other people's health and respected their life and their health, their integrity, then you will also be healthy in your life. If you are always taking good care of your mind by meditating, allowing your mind to be still, then you will also find yourself healthy in mind, clear, with a clear mind, being able to understand things easily. So this is how karma works. The same kind of karma will come back to you. So it does sometimes happen that some people are interested in some parts of Buddhism, and so they practice that mostly. Even not only in the present day, but also in the past. Some people were mostly interested in meditation. So there is one case where one monk called Bahia, or to be precise, he was not a monk, but in Thai language, we do call him Pra, because he did become enlightened. But Bahia was somebody who met the Buddha, and the Buddha said only a few words, and he immediately understood and became enlightened. But because he had never given much in his life, in his previous lives, in his present life, therefore he wasn't able to find a rope to become a monk, and he died in the process. Of course, that's a bit of a drama, a bit of a tragedy, but the point is that sometimes some people like to do some things, but not others. And so those things will mostly come to them. Now, when I talk about these kind of things, it may seem a little bit childish to want all these things for yourself or to do good only for yourself. That's why mostly when I teach about right view, I will first talk about being selfish and being not selfish in Buddhism, which is slightly different than in how we think about these things in the West. So in Buddhism, when you do good for yourself, it's not considered wrong or selfish, because first of all, when we are born in this world and when we die from this world, we do so alone. Nobody can help us when we are born in this world, only after we already are here. But more to the point, nobody can help us when we die. So we have a certain, there's a certain basic principle in life about that. We can never really expect anybody to be there for us when we die till the last moment. We can expect people, we can ask people to take care of us, but the way we take care of our mind, or if you want to use the expression, take care of our soul, nobody else can do that for us. So that's an important thing to remember. Secondly, even if we were to try not to think about ourselves, and we want to do good only because other people will make other people happy, we have to realize that sometimes good intentions do not always make other people happy. For example, some people are not grateful. For example, if you give some food to a beggar, sometimes the beggar is angry because the food is not enough or something like that. If we only do good because of other people, we might be disappointed. But if we do good because of the goodness itself, because of the path of goodness, because of the way it helps us to grow as a human being, then whatever happens, we will find pleasure in the goodness itself. And when we grow because of the goodness that comes back to us, we also are able to better take care of others. That's why in Buddhism, altruism depends on a sort of good way of taking care of yourself. Some people, like the Dalai Lama, even use the word healthy egoism, but I think this word can be easily misinterpreted, so maybe not use that word. But he has a point. Sometimes there are good ways we can take good care of ourselves, and it will also help others. If we take good care of ourselves in a good way, it will sort of spill over to others. And that's the point. To use a metaphor that the Buddha often used, we can think of two acrobats, one supporting the other one. And I think I mentioned this before in these sessions, but I'll just review. And just as the two acrobats, they need to rely on each other to keep up the trick, to keep up the stunt, to show the stunt. Therefore, the first acrobat needs to hold the second acrobat and make sure that he doesn't fall. In the same way, taking care of ourselves is like a good foundation of taking care of others. When we have more mindfulness and more stability of mind, we can also, by that stability, using that stability, take good care of others. That's the point that I'm trying to make. So, having mentioned that. Let's just continue. A karma that has been done will ripen as soon as it obtains an opportunity. So karma is not always instant karma. There's a sort of trend in YouTube to show people who are behaving badly in traffic and then immediately get into some punishment or something, get punished for that, and then it's called instant karma. But not all karma is instant. Sometimes it takes a while before something comes back to us, whether good or bad. Sometimes our abbot, Lompata Machayo, our abbot in Thailand, he uses the word chong in Thai language, which means like it comes up, like it has a chance to come up. I use the word obtain an opportunity because that is the word used in Pali. But you can like, well, it's like a sort of queue. Karma tend to be queued. And sometimes one karma will ripen. It will come in our lives, but another one will not ripen yet. And a karma may not always ripen once. That's interesting, isn't it? Suppose you have been kind to somebody one time. You may find that that kindness comes back to you many times. And if you are kind to somebody who you very much feel grateful for, that is even a more powerful karma because it comes together with some sense of wisdom. So when you do something good, the intention is very important, as I mentioned in the previous session. How with the intention that we do things is very important. That is what determines whether it's a good karma or a bad karma, so to speak. So at the other side of the spectrum, if we do something wrong, for example, maybe we have a little bit of a habit to gossip, then we might find ourselves being gossiped about for quite a while in our life, even if we have already stopped the habit. Because we have been gossiping, then gossip comes back to us. We stop our habit, we are aware of it, we stop it. It may still take a while before things get better. So there is some delay that we have to understand, but the delay is not too long. We can wait it out. We can see how our lives is improving. Because even though there is a delay, we can already see that when we do good, we immediately feel better. And we can also see that it's gradually improving. So when a karma ripens or when it comes in our life, it therefore becomes exhausted. The energy is gone. So if you have been gossiping about somebody and then it comes back to you, at a certain point, the karma is gone. It's not eternal. The same way, on a similar note, if we do a lot of good things to other people, the good will come back to us. But if we stop doing that, then at a certain point, the goodness will be exhausted. It will not come back. We will not find ourselves in good conditions anymore. And the karma must always ripen sooner or later. It cannot be fled from. There's a story in the Buddhist text about a king that obstructed a very enlightened and very good monk. And it was, and somebody said, well, because of that, he might get a bad karma. And then when the king heard that, he became afraid, and he started to run. He started to hide in a very high tower and didn't want anyone to get to him. But eventually the karma got to him anyway, because it's like an energy in your mind that will attract that thing. You cannot just flee from it. But that is the good side and the bad side of karma. I mean, it's in us, so we cannot flee from it. But the good side is that if we do something good, it will always come back to us. So that gives us confidence to do good. But it also comes with a sense of caution that when you see a lot of your coworkers gossiping, okay, maybe next time don't get involved. When you have anything that's tempting for us to do something wrong, then try to be cautious and avoid all that is destructive. That is the point. So today we have talked about how right view is important in Buddhism and what we can do to develop good principles, how we understand the law of karma according to its principles. Next time I will talk also about how karma might be related to some modern science, which there may be some ideas there and some examples of how karma works, but that will be next month. So do you have any questions for this moment? No questions? I hope it was clear.
I don't think anyone have question.
Okay. Just before we finish, this Thursday, I will be teaching a little bit and guiding meditation on the Earth Day meditation group, which is a little group of people. It's quite a large group actually, who come together every day and meditate together every day at 4 o'clock UK time and 5 o'clock Central European time. And they do this through an app. And this app is called Clubhouse. You can find it for free. You can download it for free. And it's like Zoom, but there's only sound. There is no visuals. And I will be teaching on this Clubhouse this Thursday. And the group is called Earth Day Meditation. Nobody has a group like that, so you can easily find it. So you can actually meditate with them every day, not only Thursday, but this Thursday I will be teaching on it. It's also in English, of course. So I would like to thank you for your attention, and I give the floor back to Nancy.
Thank you so much, Lumpy Sander. That's very helpful for the topic today. That's lovely. I hope everyone enjoyed today as well. If anyone would like to pay respect to our teaching monk, please bow 3 times. Bow, bow, bow.
May you find peace and happiness. May all your good wishes be fulfilled. May you always find wisdom in your life, inspiration to do good, but also caution to avoid all that is destructive. May you always find wise people on your path in every lifetime until enlightenment.
Sadhu. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Christian, Ashley, Catherine,